plant
Hey,
anyway.
everybody, this is Dr. J and Kamal streaming live from Long Island, New York, where the weather is hot, but not as hot as the weather in Florida, where Spike is trying to join us from. He's having trouble getting on. I think you're on, right, Spike? Well, anyway, it was quite a day on the street. It wasn't hot. It was torrid. It was red as can be, red hot. I guess red is the color.
I'm up, but
I mean, I didn't see any green. Did you find any green today in your portfolio?
Me? Let me see right now.
I don't think I found any.
My only green is Walmart because I bought it yesterday at $121.60 and it's $121.90.
I own Walmart, so it was a little green in my portfolio too, but it was hard to find.
Yeah.
Basically, I didn't really try to find it. I didn't look. I just ducked today. I said today is a good day not to look because I'm not going to do anything. I didn't feel like making any trades. So I made no trades today. And we'll see what happens going into next week. I didn't expect this kind of inflation number. I tweeted my reaction to the inflation number was yikes, inflation. I tweeted that out. I mean, what more can you say? What more can you say, really?
Well, yikes pretty much covers it all.
Yikes is as good as, I mean, it was quite high, much higher than I expected. Higher than the whisper number that Dan mentioned on the show.
Right.
It's a disaster. Dan posted a comment afterwards about the numbers, saying that 3,800 right around the corner, and sure enough, it's heading there. All right, Cabinet Guy is with us from the Green Mountain States. Cabinet Guy, at least you get to see some green in the Green Mountain States.
Yeah. That's funny.
We're going to have to come and visit you in order to see green. You can't find it in my portfolio. Cabinet.
Wow.
Andrew Chow is with us today. Even Andrew is probably out of ideas. Andrew always has something up his sleeve. Pete Alexia, and hope everyone survived. Yeah. Well, I survived it by going to the ocean, the other sea, the real sea. Yeah. And I survived it by going to the seashells at the seashore.
Sorry, guys. Trying to mute this. There you go. Okay.
You're the guilty party?
Yes, I'm the guilty party.
Andrew sees my yikes and he raises it 2 yikes. He says, I'll see your yikes.
Yes, sums it up.
And I'll raise it 2 more yikes.
Yes.
It's really, really bad. I mean, inflation is last hit 8.6 in the first year of Reagan's presidency. That gives you an idea of how long it's been. And let people compute that if they want.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Some people don't even know who Reagan was.
Those are the same people.
I know.
Those are the same people who called me senile, right?
I'm not going to draw a correlation.
Yeah, probably. Cabinet Guy had 2 green things in his portfolio. A Novus was green, or that makes me feel good. I own a Novus.
A Novus, huh? I'll take it.
Mark says, forget about yikes. This is a yucky poo.
He's learning from you, Dr. J.
That's one of my favorites, yucky poo. Yeah.
That technical term.
Technical term. And Andrew says, Andrew does have an idea. Didn't I tell you Andrew has an idea? He always has an idea. Time to buy Tandem. Oh. When all else fails, I guess you can always buy Tandem. We'll take a look at Tandem. Why not?
Why not is right.
And Sava was up today, I think, right? Was Sava up? At one point it was up. Maybe it closed down, but
it's up a little bit.
It's up 6% or 7%.
Oh, it was. They had a good day, Sava. All right, so there is some green in my portfolio. See, it pays not to look. I jinxed it when I look. All right, Skyline thinks it's first going to get ugly in the market before it gets better. Inflation is much worse than what we think. Worse than 8.6%? How much worse can it be? It's not a question of it being worse than what we think. The question is, can we harness it? That's really the question, right? Can we harness it going forward? Or will the steps, whatever steps it
Well,
Fed takes, is it
the
going
only
to be?
thing you can do in these situations is borrow money.
Once inflationary economy gets in your head, you just take the money that you from your paycheck and you go out and buy your groceries before they go higher the next day.
Right.
Once that happens, then it's all over. So I mean, inflation is really terror. It can terrorize an economy.
Yes.
Destroy an economy.
Especially
some basic things doubled. Like today, I buy a certain type of honey, and it has doubled in price.
So maybe what you should do is buy what's that cheap honey that I always buy the cheap one.
Aunt Jemima? I don't know.
Whatever
syrup?
it's called. I don't know. Whatever it's called. It tastes
Baker's honey.
It all tastes the same to me anyway. The honey. Sweet stuff. I think people are doing that, by the way. They're substituting all the generics for the brand names.
Right.
So I mean,
and I hear that I read an article that today many people are going to the dollar store instead of like Walmart and
yes, that's another good idea for what to buy. Dollar General, Dollar Tree. Even they're not doing good because people can't even afford to buy what's in there. They got to buy basics. Gasoline,
because they can't sell anything.
Gasoline to get to work, to drive your car to work, and food to put on the table.
Yeah. I mean, the prices are relatively really high, especially gas prices. When I go to the pump, $100 is like a norm now.
Skyline thinks one of the main problems is the price of oil. I agree. Oil has to be $100 a barrel or less. Once it starts hitting 120, 130, 140, that just kills everything. It kills the price of gas and all energy. Even electricity goes up. Everything. So I mean, even those people buying electric cars, so they don't have to go to the gas pump, they're going to pay more for their electricity because you have to burn something to get the electricity.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's vicious cycle. All energy costs go up. Andrew also followed your lead, Kamal. He decided to buy some Walmart at 120.
Yeah.
Free market for inflation protection. He sees it as an inflation play. That's interesting because they're still getting the customers. It's just as crowded as ever.
Yes.
What they're experiencing is a wallet shift. No more are they buying the big ticket items, but they're buying the food and the essentials.
And also online, like the Walmart online store, a lot of products they're selling it with zero shipping fees.
Yes.
Like you buy it and they ship it to you free.
Yes.
Before, I think you have to buy something like worth of $35 or more to get free shipping.
Or you can buy just like Amazon Prime. They have their version of Walmart Prime. I forget what they call it. I think it's $100 or $80, whatever it is, and they ship quicker and free. What does indubitably have to say? Indubitably, y'all haven't been prepping. You're going to be in
and you have indubitably.
Stack it to the rafters before the run on the stores. I don't know. I mean, I just hope it doesn't get to the point really like it has in so many other little third world countries where the dollar the dollar becomes like a joke. You know, the value kind of gets cut in half every 3 months.
Yes.
I mean,
There are countries like that. I know that.
yeah, it's happened in a lot of places. Look at Germany post World War One, right? That's a classic example.
So again, I'm dreaming, but I think that the quickest solution is to end this Ukraine war, or figure out a solution or some kind of settlement or whatever it is, whatever you
All
want.
right, you know what? Are you volunteering to negotiate? Be a mediator?
I think all parties know what they want, and they just need to agree.
Do you think you could bring them together?
No, definitely not me.
How about Spike? Maybe we'll send Spike over to
Yeah, because I really know how to close. They call me Spike the Closer.
Ford is another idea. People have good ideas on Ford.
All these stocks are on sale. It's just a question of scaring up the money to buy them and scaring up the gumption.
But at least you're getting
put the money at the bed.
So at least you're getting 2.2%. So you have a little cushion, not much, but a little cushion. Of course, it can go down 3% in one day, and then your 2.2% doesn't do you much good.
True.
Right.
Mika must be at a conference. You're at a conference in London? It's probably he's at a conference.
I'm sorry about all the monster noises coming from my end.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Skyline, we need to invest in companies with lots of cash so we can survive the storm. Yeah, that's true. You have to have companies.
What is that, utilities?
That are cash rich, like a Microsoft and an Apple and Google and Amazon, and these companies are going to be around. No matter what the storm is, they will survive it. Mika's vacationing in London. Okay, it's a place to go.
Yes.
Go see Big Ben. Say hello to Big Ben for me. Say hello to the Queen. Give her my best.
Jubilee.
Yeah. So I last time I was in London, I visited the Queen, and we stood outside the palace, and 3 people drove by and said, "Who's that standing next to Dr. J?"
Yeah. Go to England to see Dr. J.
Yeah, who's that woman standing next to Dr. J? They couldn't recognize the Queen. I couldn't believe
That's funny. Who's that woman sitting next to Dr. J? That's hysterical.
Who's that woman standing next to Dr. J? They wanted to know.
Well, in the United States, we have a queen and a king. We have Burger King, and we have the Dairy Queen.
Yep.
All right, we've been just wasting time.
We don't want to show charts. I don't think. You really want to show charts?
I almost don't want to show any charts because they're so depressing. They're very, very, very depressing.
This should
But
be
the
about
question
strategies
is,
of surviving.
what's your future predictions? Meaning, are we going to continue to slide? Is this going to continue like this, or?
It almost looks like for certain. I did glance at the charts. It looks like almost for certain we're going to test the lows, and quite likely that we go make new lows. How low? I don't know, but I think we're going to make new lows. It's incredible because just the other day I thought we were going to go to 460.
Right.
Right.
Not long ago. So this is
supposed to be over by March.
And you're trapped because you can't sell because you don't really know how low it's going to go. It's silly to sell, even if it goes 20 points lower than 380, goes to 360. So you survive it, you wait it out. And it's also, you can't buy because every time we get a pop, it comes right back down. So it's really only good for trading, this market. What you're invested in, you got to hold, or swap in and out of something else like you've been doing. But it's really tough to pull money out, and it's tough to commit money long term. So that's the way I see it.
Doesn't matter.
Turkey inflation is 73%. I guess he means is that the country or is that the price of a turkey?
The currency.
The currency.
Yeah.
My glasses are not
You can't eat money, says Indubitably. Yes, that's true. You can't. Yeah. You know what really bothers me? Bitcoin. Bitcoin to me, it should do well in an inflationary environment, and so far it's not been the case. My intuition tells me that it's a fixed amount of Bitcoin. They don't produce much more Bitcoin. It's algorithmic. It's a finite amount, and as the dollar cheapens, Bitcoin should go up in value. So my intuition is wrong. I don't know why it's wrong, but it seems to me so far that it's not working that way. So I'm confused why Bitcoin is not doing better. Andrew, I readily admit I was long adding to Google and Shop, others this week, anticipating a better CPI. I want to see now next week before I pare down again. Yes, Andrew, I felt like adding, but I controlled myself. I added very, very little. The only thing I bought in the last week was a little Innovis. But I could understand the urge to buy as the market starts moving up. You say to yourself, you've seen the bottom, and it looks that way. It's very tricky, this market. And I was anticipating a better CPI as well. So I'm in shock over this number. Dan had it right with 8.2. What did he say, 8.2? And yesterday,
8.4.
he said 8.2% for the year, annualized. And he was right. Actually, it was 8.6, even worse. But what's the difference? A couple of decimal points. It doesn't make a difference. It's bad, very bad. And the really scary thing is at this point, you don't know when it's going to peak. What's the next printout going to be? 9.2? I mean, come on. It's getting scary. Maybe it may be so scary that the Fed should move 75 points. I'm beginning to think that might be the case. Why make it preordained that it's 50 points over the next two meetings? Why make that a given? Why not leave it open for the data? They're supposed to be data driven, the Fed, are they not?
Yes.
If they're data driven, why say in advance that what your move is? My move is 50 points, no matter what the data is over the next two meetings. Why? Why? If you're data driven, leave it alone and just do what you have to do at the time based on the data. Mika, like you said yesterday, asset prices will only improve with loose monetary and fiscal policy. Yes, generally stocks do well in an inflationary environment, as long as it's not stagflation. Stagflation, like we had in the 70s, is an exception. But generally, stocks do well. Real assets do well. Real estate does well. Gold tends to do okay, usually. Here's another question. Buy Amazon. Mark, I've been buying Amazon my whole life. Why not buy more Amazon? Why not? It's right now it's getting punished, more so than it should. Why not buy more Amazon? In the long run, you're going to be okay. Absolutely. So everybody on this board has really good ideas, from Andrew to Mika to Mark to Indubitably to Skyline. Everybody has good ideas, but with it all, we're all being punished because we're in the market. If you're in the market and you're basically long, you're being punished. There's no way. No two ways about it. You're taking a spanking. And I'll take a look at one or two charts. What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Look at SPY. I'm not even going to say what the averages did. We all know what they did. They went down about 3% across the board. That's good enough, or bad enough. SPY. Did we make a lower closing low than what we had previously? Let's see.
Could you remove that banner, Dr. J?
The previous closing low, whoops, I had it. This is it right here. This candle.
Dr. J?
Yeah.
Could you remove that banner, please?
What is the banner?
It's a request by Mark.
Sure. All right. You see this candle from May 19th? The close was 389.46. I think that's the lowest close we've had. I'm pretty sure. Well, what did it close today? 389.80. So it didn't. It's not low. It's not lower. Close, but close to a couple of cents off. So it looks like we're going to make a lower close probably on Monday. Figure we have weakness on Monday into next week. I don't know. We might get another hit of this downward trend line that I drew in. And if that happens, it could happen pretty far down at about 369. I think that's a conceivable number, even without looking at the anything else, just by looking at this little picture of the S&P. That's enough for me to be making a call like that. Very small snapshot of the S&P, and just from that, I'm thinking we might get another hit of this trend line down here sometime next week, towards the end of next week. That would put us right about here, right about there. It's not drawing. I wanted to draw. Yeah, there's that line. 370, 369. I could see that happening. And now let's take a look at the more expansive view with the weekly. I got to get rid of all these drawings, make it nice and clean. And this looks like a pretty nice area of support. 368.20. Now, that's not much different than my what I drew in for that little picture of the daily, right? Very close. 368 area. I think there's some support right around there. So that would be my guess. Now, I think we make new lows. Of course, it's a guess. And if we do make new lows, it's a guess that it's going to stop here, as opposed to, let's say, at the 200 at 340, which is another target on the downside, 349.15. So, it's not a happy picture, period. And did I do a Fibonacci retracement chart? I think I did. Let me draw it again. So it looks like about 320, the low is about 218. Sounds about right. And We went up to four. Come on. We went up to 480, and the 50% retrace would be at right above the 200. So that looks quite likely. Looks quite likely. Actually, though, look, we did stop at the 38.2. So maybe we get support right here.
I
38.
think we get support right there.
38.2 would be 385.15. That's possible. In which case we won't make another new low. I hope not. The low so far is 380.54 intraday. That same day we closed at 389.63. So you think this 38.2 retrace is enough, Kamal? You think we stop right there?
For me, yes.
It's enough for you.
For me, it's enough, yes.
Oh, okay. I guess that's one way of putting it. Truthfully, it's almost anybody's guess. Does it stop? Does it test the low and hold? Does it test the low and go through it to this support area around 368? Or does it go down to the 50% at 349, which would coincide pretty much with the 200? So those are the likely targets at this point. It doesn't seem likely that we start going up Monday morning and just keep going up. That's just doesn't seem likely. At this point, much more likely to the downside. Much more likely. This is a horror. I mean, as good a candle as we got on Wednesday, that's how horrible this candle is today. So maybe even worse. It's just, well, not worse, but it's a horrible, horrible candle. One would have to think that it is indicative of further weakness. You would have to think that, Kamal.
Yep.
So I really like the comments. I really enjoy reading what people think. Let's see what Indubitably says. Are we going to legalize cannabis? I think we should. I think we will eventually. I do think that. Heath says, good question. Mark bought as much as he could of Amazon, I guess. Yeah. Look, Mark, I think that was a good move.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, for long-term investment, Amazon is probably the safest bet.
Yeah, Amazon. Look, Apple is another one. I think it's okay to buy as much Apple as you want at this point. I think in the middle to long term, in a couple of years, you'll be very happy. And according to Kathy Woods, buy Zoom now. She's high on Zoom. She thinks Zoom will Zoom 13 times in the next 5 years. Who knows? I'm not so sure of that because it could be this competition that you don't know about that's could come up.
I remember buying Zoom at the beginning of the pandemic at 78, and I sold it at 90, and I was so happy. Then it zoomed to like 500 plus.
400
or 400.
Yeah. All right, so we'll call it a show. See you all on Monday. Have a great weekend, and we'll get real next week. We'll chart real stuff. All right. Have a good weekend. Bye bye.
Take care.